first partner in a major effort. And when that came unraveled, and Harcourt was bipolar, manic depressive, and when he was on a downer, everything broke loose, you know. And one of the things that he asked me to do was to put horses down, horses that were perfectly healthy. He just said, I want him put down. He's disappointed me, and I want you to shoot him. And I felt like I knew what to do, and I said, fine. Because you can't argue with a guy in that position. I said, fine, no problem, I'll do that. And he left with confidence that I would do it, and that's not something I could do at all. And I found homes for them, and that got me in trouble, because then he was in a position when he found out to say that I stole them, which didn't happen at all. In fact, I had people pay their book value, and I slid it into the books. And so he was paid for his horses on what his impression was of their value. But he still, you know, wallowed around in trying to put blame on me for that. And there was a point in my life when I could say, I can preserve this dream, this enormous position of mine, financially in every way, if I compromise my own ethics. But if I stay with my ethics, that dream is gone. That's gone the next day. And so it was gone. And as God or whoever runs this thing would have it done, it came full circle, and I'm back in my house and back on the property, and the dream goes on. It's one of those times when, you know, the white hat wins, and I like to feel that it was destined in nature to have me come back and fulfill my dream. It's not without work and continued effort, that's for sure. We had a conversation today about all that's needed to keep that dream alive, but the dream is alive and always will be.
Can you tell us about your facility in California?
Sure, that's easy. We have almost 200 acres, and it's beautiful, it's green, and it has lots of trees and beautiful buildings. And while it's 35 years old now, it's still in good shape, and it's a wonderful place to live. The climate's nice there. It's near Santa Barbara, California. And we have training facilities. We have a training track, and we have indoor arenas. We have breeding facilities for the stallions and the mares and raising foals. And we have this beautiful home, Pat and I, 150 feet above the operation itself. And nature just provided the perfect sort of position for the home in terms of this property. So it's ideal for that kind of thing, and I really don't have any right to be so blessed to live in such a wonderful place, but since somebody has to be there, it might as well be us. And I thank God every day for that privilege.
When you were young, you wanted to open a ranch, but people told you that you would never make it. How do you think about that?
How do I think about them now? When I was young, I had a teacher that wanted me to remain realistic, and he knew that my family didn't have financial resources to support the idea of owning a ranching operation later in my life. So he wanted me to remain realistic, and I was idealistic, not realistic, and I said I can do it. And it was a difficult thing, because he wanted to give me a very bad grade on my paper for doing this, you know. It's just a little story, but this teacher came back, I think it was about 35 years after I had seen him, and he brought his church group, retired now from teaching, he brought his church group back to the farm to show them that no teacher has the right to put a cap on the dreams of their students, that you can't close down their options, that anything might happen, and if they keep their dreams open and keep working, they can make it. It's very American, that thought. And for me, it worked. And he was a wonderful man who appreciated the value of what I did. Some of my critics then said terrible things about what I said about him, making out that it was mean to say that he had done this. But he himself didn't say that at all. And I think a lot of people make mistakes in life, and he was big enough to come back and say that was a mistake, and teachers shouldn't do that. And he was on advisory panels for teachers all over the United States, and he went around saying, don't cap their dreams, you know. So I think he served his purpose. I loved him dearly, and he died just a couple of weeks ago.
If you had a message besides look for your dreams, what other message would you give to young people?
I would give them the message that violence is never the answer, that violence is always for the violator and never for the victim. I would tell them that the horses are trying to teach us that no one was born with the right to say you must or I'll hurt you to any other creature, animal or human.
One of the famous expressions now is down the stretch they come, they're whipping and driving. Could you tell us a little bit about what your opinion on that whole horse racing and thoroughbred and the whip?
I have been involved in horse racing since I was a child. I rode races as a child, and I've been involved with horse racing all my adult life. And most of my adult life, I've been involved with big-time racing, horses worth in the millions of dollars. And I love horse racing. I think it's a wonderful, fun industry to be in. And I know that horses like to race with one another when they're 4 or 5 days old. So they love to run. That I'm certain of. I can give you every evidence that that's true. But if that's the case, then what right do we have to whip them? And I'm a proponent of whipless racing all over the world. And it's beginning to work. Scandinavia is almost whipless now. Germany has a spaghetti noodle. And England is down to 5 strikes, and you're fined if you do more. In California, where I'm from, the jockeys are fined if they don't whip. So, but it'll come. It will come. And I encourage people everywhere I go to contact their racing associations and say, let's go whipless, you know. And I think it'll happen, and I think it'll happen fairly soon. Fairly soon being a few years.
I have 2 more questions.
We got 2 more minutes, so we're about.
Okay. Okay. If someone wants to contact you, what's the best way?
If they want to contact me, the best way is to either call 1-888-U2-MONTY, the letter U, the number 2, and then MONTY, or contact me on www.montyroberts.com. Those are the 2 best ways to contact me and get their information, whatever it is they want.
You're going to do